Okay, now let's try and understand some of the C++ concepts that are very commonly used in Gazebo Sim plugins. Although this concept will not be enough to understand everything, you still need to understand C++ basics that I've already told you in the introduction video. But if you're someone who understands these things and I want to revise some of the concepts that are important for Gazebo Sim plugins, the one of the most important concept in namespace. You can read about this on this document. I've linked it, but the thing that I want you to understand is, like, if there is a namespace, that means it's an scope. So if you see this bracket is basically represent a scope. So it is within name1, and then it is also in the namespace of name2. So how would you access variable x or function my function? So to access them, what you have to do is you need to write the first name space name1, then name2, and you have to add this resolution operator and then the variable name. This is the variable name. Same goes with the member function. You have to write this first, then this function name. This is how you access anything inside the namespace. And why do we use namespace? So that it's easier to put things on within some scope, so that the compiler doesn't get confused onto different things. Like if x is there and x is also globally outside, how would it understand that both are different things, right? To make it clear, we use this namespace scope. So it's also, this improves the readability of the code. So now comes the Gazebo concept. Okay, so you'll see lot of this namespace in like this when you are writing system plugins. GZ means Gazebo, sim, and then systems. So if there is something inside this, how would you access this? Then you write gz sim systems. But there is one more interesting thing about this, that this also will help you to find things in the documentation. Now see, so if there is something called node, okay, this node, it is in this namespace, right? This is in Gazebo transport node. So what it actually also means is that if you click on this link, if you go inside this and you will search for node, this is how you generally search for anything in Gazebo sim docs. Okay, so you just search for the things. So you see, this is inside Gazebo. Inside Gazebo there is a transport. Inside transport, this node is there. This is also a class, and this is object of that class. Okay, so this also helps you to find things in Gazebo sim documentation. It's really important. You need to know all of these things. Okay, I hope you understood this. Okay, the next thing is standard optional. So what is a standard optional is, if some variable doesn't get the values, then standard optional wraps it inside a format so that you can check it up. For example, if you see this code snippet, maybe name that's written over here. So if you see maybe name, it's saying that maybe name, and we are using the standard optional, and of data type is standard string. This is a template. I hope you know what is template. And then what it does, we assign this, then it first check does it has the value. If it does, then we just print the value. To print the value, you see, while assigning, you assign to this variable, but to get values out of it, you have to do like this, because as I already told you, this are being used on some places where we are not confident that it is going to return up the string value or not. Is it going to return something else? It is going to return null. So just for safety purposes, we use like this. So this is called value, so it will return value. Similarly, you will find this lot in Gazebo sim documentations, that if you see on this line, it's written standard optional, and this is of type entity. This is very similar to this line. Okay, and then this is there. So whenever you are finding this name, so if suppose this model name is some ABC, something like that. Okay, so what happens when you put up the name, then this is a function of entity component system. We'll understand this code, but the thing is, I want you to understand this because this is of type this. standard optional. Because of that, how would you access the data? This is C++ concept. Okay, so you'll first check if it has the value. If it doesn't have the value, we'll say no, skipped, it doesn't have the value that you are looking for. Okay, but if it has the value, then how will access the value of it? So we'll access the value using this dot value. Directly you can't access this, right? So that's the point that you need to remember. Sometimes you will see Gazebo Sim plugin code there and you will ask why this value is there. So this is the reason for that value. I hope you understand this thing as well. Now let's get back to another concept. So this classes has something called this pointer. What this pointer is basically it gives you a way to access the class members. Using this, you can access all the class member and all the functions. So this is there in that. If you see, this is an ID. So this input of this function is also this ID and then this ID. So here on the code, it may get confused. For that reason, what it does, it uses this code here and uses this so that even the input of the function is ID and then the private variable name is also ID. So because of that reason, so that the compiler doesn't confuse and it understands that you have to assign to the member function of this class. Because of that, we use this pointers generally. Okay, and this pointer can give you access to everything that it has. Like it can give you this, if there is some function over here as well, then it can give you access to that. Same goes with this. So like this, you can access the members as well, you can access the function as well. So this is a public member, you can write this and you can access this member function. Okay, so I hope this concept is also clear, and you'll see this being used a lot in Gazebo Sim, because in classes in general we use this, right? So it's not specific to Gazebo, it's just generally C++ classes. But I thought this is also an important concept to make you understand. Okay, so this is also we use this. So this means this is a member function of the class. Member variable. It's a member variable of this class, and we are assigning this value using this. Okay. We'll understand about the code details gradually, but I hope you understood some of this important concept about C++ that heavily being used in Gazebo. So see you next time.